Welcome to the Free to Play podcast. This is episode 6, I think. And I have to open this up by saying, as of recording, we are exactly 1 week away from the PlayStation 5. Let that sink in.
Oh! Yeah!
You'll love to see it. I think as this goes up, what day is it? I don't fucking know anymore.
It's November 5th.
Okay, so when this episode goes live, it'll be 3 days till the PS5.
Woo! Yeah!
We're almost there, boys. Home stretch, 3 days. But for me, it's a whole week. So
Let's go, boys.
What's your excitement level for the PS5, Andrew?
Oh, you mean I haven't shown it already from the past couple of cheers I've done?
Yeah, I guess. Also, I wanted.
Hold on. I guess I didn't make it clear. So here. Let me play it out for you again. Woo! Yeah, let's fucking go! PS5. So yeah, that's about how excited I am.
I want the audience to know about the fucking just stupid ass pre-show we just had. We spent 30 minutes talking about stupid shit, and then right when we were starting to record, we just could not stop laughing about something. And I'm still feeling it.
Because you keep trying to fix yourself up, and then you break as soon as you're about ready. Because you'll slap yourself around in the face a couple times, adjust your glasses, and then you'll look into the camera, make sure you look all nice, and then the corners of your lips will start to curl up, and then before you know it, you start breaking again. Yeah, just you, not me. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you can't see Andrew, so he obviously isn't doing anything wrong. Also, that brings us to a new point.
Hey!
I'm sexy. You can look at me now. And Andrew's too sexy that he broke his webcam.
Look at him in all of his majestic glory.
Andrew's too sexy, so you can't see him right now. He broke his webcam.
I posted a picture of myself once, and that just completely fucking fried my phone.
Dude, my eyes were glued to that picture for 3 weeks. I couldn't look at my girlfriend the same. I couldn't you were just too hot, Andrew. I couldn't think of anybody else.
Yes.
Guys, I think we broke him.
Your voice cut out so much. I understood nothing.
Wait, you heard nothing that I said?
No, I didn't hear a goddamn thing. I'm trying to figure out how to switch my region, so that maybe that will fix it, because there's a lot of video lag issues on Discord.
I'm gonna plug in my Ethernet cable. Talk to the audience for a second, Andrew.
Alright. I'll try to keep everyone entertained. Fuck. It's good to be back, everybody. Good to be back in our professional setting, doing this professional show that we do professionally. Because we're professionals, you know? Obviously, I'm making jokes and shit, because we're not. In case you haven't noticed, we're not all that professional. But I think that's where the charm lies for us. Especially, This is episode 6, alright? We got a lot of episodes to go before we figure out what the fuck we're doing. So, if you do come across this show at all, it'll get better. Probably. Please bear with us for the time being. As we figure things out and we start trying to put all this together, put our format together and all that. We're growing. We're new, so we're like a small growing thing, and we'll continue to grow. Maybe. I don't know if we'll ever stagnate at all. I think we're getting a little better. Clearly from our laughing fits, we've had Hold on, I gotta cough real quick, so you can cut this out if you want to, but hold on. I've been laughing too much. You can probably tell from things like the laughing fit thing that like this session in particular, I think at least we've already been having a good deal of fun, and that's important when you're doing a show and shit, right? It's important to have fun and enjoy what you're doing, and I'm enjoying this, and I hope you guys are too. If anyone's out there listening to this, because that's really, that kind of stuff is really important for us, It's one of the reasons we do this thing is to entertain ourselves and you guys as well. So, that's pretty important. So I hope we do it justice, and I hope that we can entertain you guys. Whether that be to be like decently informative, because this is technically a news type show, or to make you laugh, or maybe just exhale out of your nose once or twice.
Okay. I don't know what Andrew said to you guys while I was gone, but we're back.
I said nothing but mean, horrible things about you behind your back. I'm sorry.
That kind of sounds accurate.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Honestly.
We're professionals, everybody.
Professionals. So yeah, we're doing video podcasts now. That's cool. Gravy. That's really sick. Wait, Andrew can't see my screen. So let's share that again, shall we?
I'm being left in the dark here.
Yeah, we're doing video episodes. That's pretty cool. Housekeeping, I guess. Follow us on GG. Follow us on Twitter, the F2P_podcast. Instagram, I wrote it down this time. It's the F2P podcast. That's not what it was.
He's gotten better.
It's not what it was, but I changed the name to make it less complicated. So, and then if you're watching us on streaming services, why? Watch us on YouTube. That's where we do our video episodes. But if you watch us on streaming services, we get money. So, whatever you feel like doing. If you're watching us,
damn it.
Also, subscribe to our Patreon that we don't have, that we should have, because dollar bill. I'm just kidding. That's a joke, guys.
We'll have so much on offer for Patreon tiers.
I'll sell my feet pics if I have to, if that's what you guys want. Why are you laughing so hard?
I don't know. I started laughing, and then I laughed harder because I'm laughing at feet pics.
This episode's so bad.
This is just the laughter episode. Forget the main topic. We'll put it on hold again.
Oh yeah, I guess we should. This week's main topic, serious time. This.
Goddamn it, pull it together.
Okay. This week's main topic was supposed to be last week's main topic. So if you listen to the episode and you're like, what the fuck? Where was the main topic that Brent alluded to earlier in the episode? And why did it end so abruptly? And why did Brent sound sad? I'm not going to answer that question for you. But I'm going to tell you something happened. So that episode was a little wonky. So I apologize for that. Andrew didn't do anything. Maybe Andrew murdered me, and that's what I was sad about. But
I might have killed his sibling.
Nah,
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I wouldn't have cared about that. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so apologies for that episode. I still like the episode a lot. I still think it's a great episode, but we didn't get to do the main topic, and this is one I wanted to do before the consoles launched because I was kind of interested in, and as you can see below me, that's what we're discussing tonight.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it a secret, but sneak peek. Episode 7, PS5, early impressions. So send us your questions if you want them answered.
Please do. We need people to talk to.
Dude, I'm so lonely.
I know.
Also, I told you your video episodes now, but check out our new layout, our new setup. I'm still changing things as we go. It might look different next episode as we find different things, but look at the little name tag right there. Andrew's
we got fancy little names now.
Yeah.
For our fancy little selves. We're fancy now.
Fancy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so follow us everywhere. Give us money if you want to. We don't have any ways to give us money online, but if you see us on the street, maybe hand us a couple dollar bills. That'd be great.
Any bit of spare change will do. Any bits of lint or paper clips that you might have, we will also accept.
Yeah, we can sell those. Dude, games are expensive these days. If you want us to cover these games, you gotta give us that pocket lint for us to sell.
Yep.
Moving on. I don't know why I did my head like that. I don't know.
And it will be a mystery for the remainder of our time here on this world. Please continue.
What have you been doing this week, Andrew? Well, I guess a couple weeks. It's been a little bit since we recorded.
Well, I am sad to report that I unfortunately have not been playing any 3DS games lately.
Andrew, what the fuck are you on the show for?
I know.
God, I give you one fucking job.
It's a sad day, to be sure. The day where I, Andrew Hullabaloo, does not play any 3DS games.
Dude, off the record, but totally on the record, you know there are so many 3DS ROMs, right? You can play any game you want, bro.
How do you think I've been playing these games?
Then why haven't you? You have one job.
Because I've been playing other shit, and Genshin, man, it just... took up so much of my time.
I just want to say, before we get into it, I like your promo tweet for this episode.
Thank you. I spent more time than I'd like to admit coming up with it.
If you don't follow Andrew on Twitter, follow him. He doesn't tweet much, but recently he's been tweeting for every episode of the podcast, which I've been really surprised that he's done that. So
yeah, I could keep on top of my shit. Why is that so surprising?
Moving on.
It's probably better that you don't answer.
You know, I feel like this is going to be a fun episode for us. And then for everyone else, it's going to be like, you fucking idiots. This is so annoying.
Because it's so disjointed.
Yeah, honestly. Our laughing is probably peaking so much, and I'm not going to fix it.
Yeah, I don't doubt it for a second.
Also, the funny thing about my background, this is all just to look cool, because these panels do nothing for my room, because I have none in front of me. So it's like, it looks cool, but are they really doing anything? Probably not.
Like a tried and true internet personality.
Yeah. You know, the internet lied to me and told me I needed these panels to look cool. Do they look cool? Yeah, they do.
So I guess they didn't technically lie. They succeeded in what they set out to do, which was to make you look cool.
You know, I'm not dealing with your logic today, Andrew. We have a video game podcast to do. God.
Logic doesn't apply here.
Tell me about the Henry Stickmin collection.
Oh, dude.
It's almost like you forgot you wrote it down.
I did, but that's not the point. I've been really enjoying my time with the game. I haven't completed it quite yet, but you can be damn sure that I am going to, because I have been thoroughly enjoying my time with this game. I think it was like, my exposure to the series, I think was like 2014, 2015 or something. And, my mom was running errands downtown in the city, so it was a lot of boring adult stuff. So I was in one of the good ye old public libraries for a while. So I went to use their computers because why would you read? Why would why would you go to a library to read, right? So I
Bro,
went
of
to
course.
the public computers, and I was playing around on random ass like Flash games and stuff, and I came across this one called Infiltrating the Airship, which I thought looked neat because it was a Stickmin guy, and I was like, hey, I like that because that pretty much sums up my drawing ability. So I clicked on it, and then I played through it, and I really enjoyed the game's sense of humor, and I liked the whole choose your own adventure style thing where you got options, you click on them, and then funny shit happens. Uh, so I had a lot of fun with it. So but then I kind of forgot about it for a while. Uh, and then I was looking around. I was looking around on Steam like a few months back through random bullshit, and I saw that there was this thing called the Henry Stickmin collection that was posted up on the Steam page that would be available for sale soon. And I saw that stick figure, and I was like, wait a second. So I looked at it, and it was like, oh, now I know all this lore and shit because there's apparently been a whole bunch of games in this series. I, I I guess I should have figured that from the introduction of infiltrating the airship because like it brings up your past actions and stuff in the game's introduction. But I was an idiot kid, so I didn't pay attention to that. Um, so I saw it and I was really tempted to go and like play all the other games on Flash. But I was like, I was also like, well, these games are all being like remastered and stuff, so they'll look and likely sound a lot better than they would on Flash. So I'll probably wait for this to get released and then experience the other games that way, just experience it all in the form of the collection. So I've been playing through the collection now, so I'm up to completing the mission by now. I've done a couple of routes. Um, I I really fucking love this game. I've it's it's really hard to describe, and if I ever start uploading videos on my channel, which I don't usually do because I'm lazy, but if I start uploading videos, I would like to do one on this series so I can like better construct my thoughts
Dude, you really should. That'd be fun. I'd watch
because
that.
yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but I have this odd feeling like as if I feel the nostalgia of playing, growing up with, and playing through this entire series, even though I've only played the one game way back. Like it sort of has that vibe to it, and it makes it feel so much better when I see like how some of these stories like come together and end in completing the mission, and it just gives you that nice warm feeling in your chest, like ah. Like you can tell how much love and care was put into especially the final installment with like some of the ongoing jokes and some of the characters and stuff, how much more it's all fleshed out and stuff. Reading the bios is a fair bit of fun. You know, there's a lot of them that are like unimportant and stuff, but it's nice that to have them there, and some of them are pretty funny, and it's nice to see how like some characters like still continue to make appearances in all the other games in little ways. Like there's this one guy I'm gonna try not to get into like a bunch of spoilers or anything because I want people to play this game so bad. But there's this one guy who you kind of fuck over, and he shows up in other games, and every time he shows up, you kind of fuck him over again.
Damn.
And it's funny. It's funny to me every time because I like seeing people suffer.
I know there's a lot of games. But like, how many are in this collection? Like, are all the games in the collection, or how many games are there in general?
Okay, so all the games are in the collection. It starts with Breaking the Bank, which is a very, very short game. It's basically treated as the prologue of the collection instead of like its own actual like episode. It has its own menu and all that, but like it's treated as a prologue and not so much as an episode in the series because it's literally just one 6 option choice in Breaking the Bank, and then that's
Mm-hmm.
it. So then you get into escaping the prison, stealing the diamond, infiltrating the airship, fleeing the complex, and completing the mission. So counting Breaking the Bank, you have about 6 installments in total, and each one gets progressively bigger and more elaborate. Like,
Excuse me.
you are excused. Like the next few games, like escaping the prison and stealing the diamond, will have like 3 different endings. And then infiltrating the airship will give you. I think infiltrating the airship and fleeing the complex will both give you 5. And the thing for completing the mission, when you go to complete the mission, the different endings that you get in the previous 2 games, again infiltrating the airship and fleeing the complex, they're so dynamic in nature. When you go into completing the mission, it's not a linear story where you make a bunch of choices and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You construct your own story based on the endings you got in the previous 2 games. So there's like a bunch of different smaller, more bite-sized like kinds of narratives that you follow through based on the endings that you got from the previous 2 games. Some are longer than others, um, but some being shorter are not inherent are not like indicative of like less time or whatever. Like there's one of them which I believe is one of the shortest routes that uh has so much fucking action and shit in it, and it's very impressive for like a bunch of stick figures and all that. Um but like I'm not gonna go on another 30-minute rant. All I will say is that it's a really fucking good game. It's like I think it's like $15 or something on the Steam store. I personally think it's very much worth it. I highly encourage anyone who hasn't played it to go ahead and go play it. It's got a good sense of humor, and it'll take you some time to get through. I guess I can, if you're. I will say though that when you play the game, your main objective should not be to just like make the right choices and then go through the endings, because then you'll go through it really fast. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I would instead recommend you go back and actively choose each option because one of the big appeals of this game is watching the various hilarious ways in which you can fail. That's I think, in fact, one of the main selling points about the game is all of those ways in which you can fail. So I highly encourage you to check out the game. I think it's very much worth your time. Uh, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's the game that I have played. Not a 3DS game, but it's still pretty good.
I remember seeing like Markiplier play all those games before, and I always kind of wanted to play them, but I just kind of
Mhm.
never really did.
I would highly encourage that you do that. It's very fun.
They always kind of like look like my style. I remember there's a lot of Stickmin games I used to play. I think it was like Stick Fight, a few other like Stickman games that I used to enjoy. So
Mhm.
that is one I've always eluded. That's always eluded me. I think I played the airship one a little bit, but I never really played it much. Like Stick Fight the game. I just looked through my Steam. That one's really fun. You should get that if you don't have it. But
Is that the one with like the blue and yellow stick fights?
yeah, you can have 4 people and you're like fighting for the crown and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I've seen gameplay videos of it. It looks really fun.
Yeah, it's good. But I'm glad to hear you're becoming obsessed with something again, Andrew. Maybe you'll talk about it next week when you complete it.
Honestly, I believe I have a bit of an obsessive personality. if I if
Honestly,
I
same. I've
if
been
I
told.
find something and I really like it, I will fucking dedicate all of my goddamn time to it.
Honestly, like I like things too much. Like I've been told I so many people have told me these words that give me anxiety of you have a lot of favorite things and I'm like, fuck, I know, stop. It's just like there's a lot of things like I obsess over that I really enjoy that I feel like kind of describe me. Like I have a lot of things I like, but even when people say like you have a lot of favorites, like Yeah, but I also have a lot more things I like. Like if I say something's my favorite, like it's genuinely one of my favorite things. Like I really do enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
So are you gonna get all the achievements in this game? I see you have 61 out of 82.
You fucking know it, man. To be fair, a lot of the achievements are pretty easy. I think the most difficult part is that there are like some secret achievements where it doesn't really give you any information on like how to achieve them. Like, because the way that the achievements are displayed to you, is like there are a bunch of like tickets, basically, like the admit one style tickets, that you see in like movie theaters and stuff. They kind
Yeah.
of look like that. And some of them don't, like the red ones are like the secret achievement ones that you have to like do some other extra thing for other than just playing through the game. So like there's this one in infiltrating the airship, which if I didn't tap into my memory of 100%ing infiltrating the airship when I played it way back when, I probably never would have figured this out on my own. But there's like this really fucking involved, like a step-by-step thing that you have to do in order to get like some item that'll give you the achievement, and it involves you having to go back through multiple different routes to go pick up certain things and then use them in certain other places. Like you'll go get a key and then like go back to a point where you're like in a cell block or something, and then there'll be a guy and you use the key to get that guy out, and then later on that guy will be like doing something else in the background, and that'll reveal a flash drive, and then you click that to get the flash drive, and then you go back to a different place, and then you use the flash drive in like a computer of some kind, as a different character, in order to in order to get access to a secret code, and then you gotta go to a different route, and then there will be a keypad, and then you go on that keypad and type in that secret code, and that'll open a door that you go through to another route to get to, and then Henry will go through that door and then get the item, and then you get the achievement. Like, there's a lot of
Jeez.
steps.
Yeah, I see a lot of these are like pretty much just like achieving endings. Bro, there's one here that like the achievement picture has a crewmate from Among Us, and I was like, bruh. And then I found out the publisher for this game is Inner Sloth. I was like,
Yeah, they're the
bruh.
same people who made the game. I didn't realize that until like later on when I was playing through the game, because there is another achievement in completing the mission, where they have like little plushy crewmates that you have to collect in all the different routes. And I saw them, and then I was like, wait, that looks really familiar. And then like eventually it started to click for me, like, oh shit, they made that game. That game blew the fuck up. I still know nothing about it.
It's fun. I recommend you playing it. Like I'd play it with you sometime. But it's
That would
kind
be
of crazy to
nice.
think about because I'm like, wait. It's like in my head, I'm just thinking about Among Us as a recent thing, but it's like no, like that game did come out 2 years ago, so it kind of does make sense. It kind of seems
Mm.
like it's the game that kind of flopped for them, but they still kept it around as like an Easter egg kind of thing. Like it's kind of fun to think about a little bit now, thinking about that.
Yeah, and how it blew the fuck up now.
It's yeah, it's kind of like Scott Cawthon putting a fucking Chipper robot Easter egg in FNAF.
Hmm. So yeah, that's Henry Stickmin. Go
Yeah,
play it.
I think I'd play it at some point. I definitely would be excited to play it. So come back next week to hear Andrew hear me talk about the PS5 and hear Andrew rants for 40 minutes about completing the Henry Stickmin collection.
You'd better be there. It's gonna be a wild time.
Dude, it is. You better be there or I'm gonna hurt you.
Don't laugh. I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm serious, guys. I could commit murder if I wanted to.
It's surprisingly easy. So
Anyway,
what? Yeah. So what about you? What have you been playing?
a lot, and I mean a lot, of Ghost of Tsushima Legends.
Getting that obsessive personality back in there.
What?
No, nothing. Please continue.
Also, I got this gum. I got this Avengers gum. I gotta put the code in to get some skins.
Dude, how it feels to chew 5 gum.
It feels great when you get Avengers skins.
Yeah, it really stimulates your senses.
Anyway, Yeah, I went back home and I was chilling with my brother for a little bit last week, and we played a lot of Ghost of Tsushima Legends. I think, dude, I played way too much of that game. It's fun. I'm getting to the part now where I'm like, fuck, like getting into a match is a commitment because you have like 3 levels. You have bronze, silver, and gold of like, they're pretty much your matchmaking things. I kind of explained this last week of what the game is. It's kind of like a 4-player multiplayer dungeon crawler ish kind of Ghost of Tsushima. It's just another mode they added. Like it's a single player game, but they added a multiplayer thing for fun. Which, fun fact, was actually planned from the beginning. This wasn't some random like, hey, let's add multiplayer. Like since the inception of the game, they wanted to add multiplayer into the co-op into the game. They just didn't know how. So now this exists. But the matchmaking is like you start at bronze. You just have to play bronze missions, and those last maybe 30 minutes. And then once you get to key level 25, you unlock silver. So basically, you have your rank, which is like leveling up your character, and then you have your key level, which is your gear, like your gear level. So depending on what gear you have, that'll go up a little bit, your key. So once you get to 25 key, you unlock silver, and then 75 key, you unlock gold. So silver, those last like 45 minutes, and you get to gold, it lasts up to an hour, hour 10, and it's like, bruh. Now getting into gold match, because I'm at like 83 key right now, 86 I think. Now getting into gold match is like I'm sitting there for a really long time. Like, Jesus. Like, it's fun, but like you really have to, like, I know a lot of people that probably just will play whatever, but for me it's like I have to want to play that game, and I have to be like, yeah, I'm going to spend 7 hours tonight playing, 7 matches to get up to the certain key level before I get off, because like that's what it is. Like sometimes you'll get like some really good loot and you'll be like, shit, I just went up 10 key, 15 key. And then sometimes you'll like get alright loot that'll get you up to like 2-3 more key, and it's like, bruh. So we're trying to get to 100 right now to play the raid, because the raid dropped on the 30th and you have to be 100 to play it. That's when you unlock it though. I think recommended it's like 120 or some shit. And the raid I know is going to take like, it's in 3 chapters. I know someone I follow said they beat the first chapter in like an hour, hour and a half, and then the second chapter they beat in like 3.5 hours. So I don't know how long that third chapter is going to be, but fuck, it's going to be a long time, and I'm not ready for it. Or maybe it's 2.5. I don't remember, but it's going to be a lot, because I still don't know how long that third chapter is going to take. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I started out as a samurai, and I unlocked the hunter. And I started using her, and like I enjoy the hunter a lot. I really do. Like I think the gear for me is better than the samurai, because I just, after a little bit, the gear I was unlocking for the samurai I just wasn't enjoying, like the big bulky armors and the big helmets with like stuff poking out. I just wasn't enjoying it that much, because even when I played the main game, I would use like the ghost armor when I unlocked that. So, but the hunter, I'm really enjoying it. I like the gear you get for it, and then just the skills are like really cool. Like you get a skill where you pull your bow back and you instantly kill like 3 people, and then you get a skill where you have like a grenade arrow. Like it's really cool. It honestly, I don't know how much longer I can go on about this game, but I'm enjoying it. I don't know how much more I'm gonna play it, because once I got back home, I didn't have a desire to play it again, but I do enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to playing it on the PS5. I definitely want to play Ghost of Tsushima proper on the PS5 again. I think that's when I'm going to start my New Game Plus playthroughs when I get the PS5. Because I played on a base PS4, so I haven't seen the game in 4K yet. 4K 60, like that's going to be really dope to see it on PS5, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing about like the grind and stuff, I can to like get to rank 100 or whatever, I can definitely fucking relate to that, because that's one of the main reasons why I'm not playing why I'm not playing Genshin so much anymore, because I reached the end of the story content and all that. I've talked about it before, but fucking adventure rank is not my favorite part of the game, and it takes a long time to level it
Yeah,
up.
the adventure
Also,
rank sucks in that game.
yeah, also I'm a couple adventure ranks away from getting to like world level 4, and it sucks that you have no say in the matter of when the world, like the levels of the enemies and stuff, scale with you, because I heard world level 4 is supposed to be like really fucking hard, and like uh, I'm not prepared for that because don't like have I don't have the best gear. I've been managing to keep myself like really up to date and shit on all my like levels and stuff. But I need to start focusing on getting my party members and shit leveled up. Barbara is my only healer, and in order to get ascension materials to like get her more levels, I have to beat this bullshit fucking boss called the Oceanid, and I fucking hate it because it's an enemy gauntlet, and that'd be fine if the enemies didn't constantly regenerate health at all times. It's I don't want to get into it because it's going to be another 30-minute rant and it's going to take away from your segment, but I hate the fight. But I'm just trying to say that I relate to the grind thing. That's all.
From what I've played and seen in that game, it definitely seems like a AAA game without the AAA polish. Like it Genshin's cool for what it is. Like, it's a free game. It seems like it's got the scale of a AAA game, but it really just doesn't have the polish. And I'm not even talking about bugs. I'm talking about just like gameplay elements like aren't polished enough to make it fun. I guess a lot of the ranks, like leveling up, kind of like enemy rank scaling with you, stuff like that, like none of that's really polished. Like, it's compared to Breath of the Wild, but it's not as polished as a Breath of the Wild would be. It's still fun, and even if you play Breath of the Wild, you should still play Genshin to see if you enjoy it, but it isn't really, like, I get it's free, but you know they're making more than enough money back from the microtransactions. People win their favorite waifus. So, like, I hope they patch it and polish it, but I don't know if they would ever really do that enough to make it a different game.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm already starting to see a bit of an issue with people who are playing a lot of the game because like there's only so many ascensions you can do before you hit all those stars and stuff. And like there are already people who are at like level 80 or 90 or whatever, and you're technically only like, as far as how much story content is available, you're still technically only at like chapter 2 in the story. There's still a bunch of regions left to be like updated into the game, and then all the chapters associated with those regions. So like
So
how is that going to work?
They kind of just cut the game content in half. Like, you don't actually finish the story, you just finish what they have.
You finish what they have so far because like Leeway's Leeway, however you pronounce it, that story technically isn't done yet because it has like one chapter left, I think, if it's going by the Mondstadt structure where it had like 3 acts. And right now all you can do for Leeway, as far as I know, is the first 2 acts, and like the 3rd act you can't really get to yet. So I assume that's going to be available in the next update, and I think that's going to include, like, because I think one of the things that are talked about is, for that update, is a boss fight against one of the characters in a certain location. So I assume that, yeah, you're going to be able to finish that, that whole chapter in this next update, and there's also going to be a new region to explore, and I don't know if the story content for that region is going to also be there. I don't know for sure, but like I'm just wondering how that'll all work, because it seems like especially for some people seem like they're already at like just about max level, but it's still technically so fucking early in the game, like, right? Like, unless they're gonna, in order to counteract that, they're gonna like add more ascensions and shit. But that would appeal more to the people who've grinded that out. So then you would have the newcomers and shit who may feel like they have to do so much more to get up to that point if it's gonna structure it like that. I don't know. I don't know how it's all gonna work. I'm sorry. We're ranting about Genshin when it's your section.
It's okay. Honestly, all I had was Legends. It's nice to see you did your homework on this game though. I feel warm and tingly inside. All right. Yeah, I don't but that cut out. I don't think I'll be able to hide the fact that it did that. But what I was saying is, like, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to that game until maybe like a Genshin Impact 2 comes out or something. It's like I'd like to go back to it, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's good really to me. Like, even if they drop new content, it's like I don't really want to sit through that game to get to that content. Like, if they dropped a second game and it was like they built on that foundation, like, I would try it out. But I'm just not enjoying too much of what they have there right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The only other thing I have on my list was Doom Eternal Ancient Gods Part 1, but I didn't get to play much more of that. I'm at a part in the second level where, like, you're all fogged up and you're like, I have to, like, you're in a fog, like in a swamp, and it's all foggy and you have to kill these people, and I keep dying and it kind of sucks. It's fun, but damn. That's all I have to say about it.
I can't believe you just said something about Doom Eternal sucked.
It just sucks that I'm dying, is all. Well, you want to get to our news, Andrew?
What news?
I'll have you kick it off. The first thing on the list.
All right. Well, yeah, the first thing on the list. Okay. All right. So, I'm sure we're all familiar with this hot new game that's been making the rounds and shit. It's in terms of buzz. It's got the fucking Keanu Reeves and shit in it. The Cyberpunk 2077. We're all real excited for that. You can mold your own genitals or whatever, right? Well, no, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer because it seems it has been delayed once more. So.
Oh, what?
So, yeah, I think you're invested in the development of this story as it progresses. What are your thoughts and feelings on this concerned citizen?
I'm not upset because I'm not excited for the game, but see, I mean, and I get a lot of heat for saying that, and I can't remember if I've talked about it on the show before, but I love CD Projekt Red. I've made it clear that Witcher 3 is my favorite game, so I'm going to play Cyberpunk. 100% whether I have to wait for a sale or game share off a friend, or maybe I will buy full price. But, like, I'm going to play it. But the combat and gameplay doesn't, like, intrigue me enough, so I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think it's going to have a great story, but am I going to want to play it? So I'm at this camp where I'm like, when they delay it again, I'm not mad about it. And even if, like, I was excited, I don't think I'd be mad about it. I might be bummed. I'm like, like, if they delayed Miles Morales this week, I would be bummed. I'd be like, bruh, I just want to play it.
So close to release.
Exactly. But I still would be like, I'm so gassy. But that's not what I would be like. I didn't. But no, like, I would still be
we have fun here.
We have fun here. No, but I would still be like, okay, it sucks, but that's... If they feel like they need to delay it, who am I to yell about it? Like, even Destruction All-Stars, like, it's not like I was jumping over the moon for that game, but I really wanted to play it, but they delayed it till February, and I'm like, okay, take your time. It'll be a better game by then. So it's the same thing with Cyberpunk. It's like... Okay, I think people are getting way too mad about it on Twitter. Like, I get being a little bit bummed, especially when I get being a little frustrated, especially when they've delayed it 4 times and you've took off work because they told you that, like, it's not going to get delayed. Like, I get that, but sharing these memes on Twitter of screenshots of them saying it's not going to get delayed, that's not going to do anything. Like, it's not really funny either. It's just kind of like, okay, you found an old tweet. Like, things change, man. Move on. Find a new game. It's like, I don't know. I get I'm at this weird thing where I'm just like, you guys are mad for no reason because I'm not mad. But it's just kind of like, okay, a game's going to get delayed. Like, you can be frustrated about it. Like, that's your right because you took off work for it, whatever. But, like, I can understand that aspect of it. But I feel like everyone complaining about it is like they'd be the same people getting like fucking mad if the game came out and it was buggy. So it's like you're not really gonna please that crowd at all. But it's also like, okay, you're gonna get mad for 2 weeks, and then the game's gonna come out, and you're gonna be happy about it. So just skip the middleman, you know. Just I don't know. Like I can't think of a lot of people that were wanting to play the game that are just not gonna like it because it got delayed. It's like you're gonna like it if you were gonna like it regardless. So I don't know. It sucks that's getting delayed, but it's 21 days. Like it's not the delay from March to November again, or it was September and then September to November. It's like it's not that big of a delay anymore. It's a delay, but it's 21 days, and I see it as a win because it was already coming out like a couple weeks after the PS5 launch. Like I have a lot of games I want to play now, like that I'm gonna have to play for this PS5 thing. So I'm happy that I get more time to play those other games and not worry about Cyberpunk. I'm also happy it's not going to be eligible for the Game Awards, and that sounds such like a gatekeeping kind of like fuck you, I hate this thing, but it's really not because I think Cyberpunk.
It sounds so out of it sounds so bad out of context.
Yeah,
because like out of context, like it's coming out. It came out at like the tail end of the year, which True. I think was your main argument.
Yeah, I think I'm excited it's not eligible only because I think games need time to breathe. Like I feel like there's so many games that I beat and I'm like, this is a flaw of mine. I immediately post on Twitter, this is my favorite game. And I get where that meme can come from. People memeing me on that. It's still one of my favorites, but it might not be my favorite. Like that is a flaw of mine I've done a couple times. When I think about it, I'm like, okay, but does it actually beat Witcher 3? No. After a week, no, it doesn't. But it's still in that top 3. So that's what I feel like would happen if judges had to pick Cyberpunk, or even the general audience had to vote for it. Like you would have had 2 weeks to beat it, and that's like for a CD Projekt Red game, it's gonna be like 50 hours. So you'll still be done with it. I mean, you'll still be playing it, or you would have just beat it, and then you're off that high, and you're like, they can't do wrong. This game is great. But then you go back, like it wins. And then you go back, you play Ghost of Tsushima, or you just think about it 3 weeks later and like, fuck. For example, Ghost of Tsushima should have won, kind of thing. That's where like, I know like one of my friends, Darby, was like, this whole arbitrary December thing is dumb. It should just be in January. I still liked December. Like I wouldn't like it if it was in January, just because like, I don't know. I like a big December end of the year celebration of games. I wouldn't vibe with it as much as if it was in January, because it would be kicking off a year. Like I like that it's in December to end the year off. Like I get games releasing in December, but it's like, what big games really release in December anymore? There's like 2 in recent memory, So now,
I mean, also like just as a quick note, 2020 sucks. let it end off with something good. Let it have more good stuff, and let it end off with something good.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a big whoop about nothing, this whole delay. I mean, there's a chance it could suck, but it's CD Projekt Red, and they've spent 8 years working on it. So, the game's not going to suck. That's just what I'm going to say. Even from someone that's not excited for it, it's not going to suck. So you're going to like it when you play it. Just
ain't
chill.
Watch Dogs Legion we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Watch Dogs Legion's ass. But actually, this is our first time talking about Legion since it came out. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how long I can beat around the same talking point of, you'll like it, just calm down. Like that's pretty much like what I've said for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I generally agree. Like I think like memeing about it a little bit is fine, because it's like a good way to like vent your frustration and stuff, because obviously, you can be like a little bummed and shit over, like, I was really excited for this, and it's because I'm really excited about this that I'm just a little bit upset that I have to wait even longer to play it. Obviously, I'm still gonna like it, but, like, I am frustrated, and I can't change that fact. So, like, I don't know. I'm just gonna make a fucking meme or something. Maybe help me laugh it off a little bit. I think something like that's fine. I think that's a pretty healthy way to deal with it. To deal with like frustration and stuff. But I can agree that like people like being more up in arms and shit over something so trivial could be a little annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's like, I also like that they touched on like what going gold means, because I had a question about it too, because I was kind of like, when they went gold, they were still talking about crunch, so I was kind of like, why are they crunching if they've gone gold? I didn't quite get it. Like, I kind of thought they were still working on it, but I like that they clarified even before people asked questions about it. Like, I think they knew people were gonna ask about it, so they were like, going gold doesn't mean like the game, like our job's not done. Like, we're still working until the game launches. Like, going gold just means that the game's playable from start to finish. All the content is physically there. Now they have to work on that day zero patch. So that makes sense. So that's why, like, I don't think it's going to get delayed again, because everything is there. They just need these 21 days to like crunch and destroy their employees, unfortunately. That's what sucks, but they need these 21 days to kind of like even everything out, finish the bugs, finish this day zero patch, and get everything done. So I don't think it's going to get delayed again. But if it does, they're going to be the laughing stock of the games industry, even if that game turns out to be really good. Like, for as much as I just went on that tangent about calm down, if they delay it again, I don't know like what the perception's going to be anymore. It's going to be bad. Like, I doubt it'll ever be a Duke Nukem 3D, or was it Duke Nukem Forever? Yeah.
I played that game, so we don't talk about those days.
Facts. Yeah, so like, I doubt it'll be a Duke Nukem Forever. Like, there's no way it will be, but it's still gonna be bad. I think, if anything, this will be a showcase of don't announce your game yet type of thing. Because like, what, they announced this like 7 years ago when they were still working on Witcher 3. So it's like, I don't know. I think some early announcements are fine. Elder Scrolls 6, that's fine because we knew it was going to happen. I think they only announced Elder Scrolls 6 so people could stop asking them about it. But if you're starting a new IP, you shouldn't announce it. Like, I guess we knew about Starfield, but them announcing it when they announced Elder Scrolls 6 was still kind of like yeah, but that's a new IP. Like, why are you just showing off a logo? Like, Elder Scrolls 6, I get, because it's an existing IP. But Starfield, it's like, you showed off a logo for a new IP. Cbyerpunk, same thing. It's a new IP for CD Projekt Red, at least. So maybe hold off until the game's almost done, like a year or two out. But all in all, like I said, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be quality, at least. Even if I don't enjoy playing it, I know it's going to be a quality game. So let's just wait till December 10th, and hopefully I'll have some thoughts for you. Anything else, Andrew?
No, man, don't look at me. Don't look at my floating orb.
Floating orb. All right, what's our next bullet point, Andrew?
Do we have a next bullet point?
Do you not have it pulled up? Because I added some things.
Did you add something? Did you
Yeah.
add some things? All right, Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
All
right,
it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad having you announce it though, because I didn't like. All I did was like type in abbreviated things. Like, I didn't even type out the full story.
All right, hold on. I gotta let it load for a second here. I didn't close it out because I thought there were already like no more things left on the news bulletin, so I left. Okay.
I went through and looked while you were rambling about Genshin, or Henry Stickmin, I think.
All right. Well, I guess I just never reloaded the page. Okay. What can I bring up?
Do you want me to do it?
Oh, hold on. I don't know if this will be an awkward cut or not, but let me just say, like, okay. Also, like, I know it's like it's a very loose segue, but speaking of delays and shit, there's like I think there's another Rainbow Six game, and Far Cry 6, that's the one that I raised my eyebrow at. Far Cry 6 and Rainbow Six Quarantine, that's it. They're both also getting delayed past the first quarter of 2021. So there's some more delays for you, since we're on the subject.
I added the article there, like the paragraph, if you want to read it. If you have to reload the page.
Fuck. Okay.
Said asking too much.
God damn it, Brent. Professionals.
I know, right?
Did you add a paragraph?
Yeah, I just did it.
I reloaded it.
Do you not see it?
I do not see it. There it is. Alright. More awkward. More awkward. Alright. Hold on, I gotta get my shit together. I don't want to laugh through my reading, alright?
Audience, why do you listen to this podcast?
Because we're professionals, damn it. Alright, so Far Cry 6, the one that I raised my eyebrow at, it initially had a release date for I think like February 18th, 2021. But Ubisoft plans to release it during its next official year, which begins April 2021 and ends March 2022. I know these technical terms. I know what quarters are.
This comes from Jeff Grubb at GamesBeat, by the way. This article he's reading off.
Yeah.
We cite our sources here.
Brent cites his sources. I just read things without citing sources because I don't know how to do it. I didn't go to university.
You also don't even use a reading voice. It's kind of, you sound like you're just reading this off the top of your head. Like you're kind of just.
That's the kind of vibe that I give. I try to make it seem more like a natural conversation piece, and fail miserably because I don't read it first.
I mean, neither do I, honestly. I just kind of like skim.
Right. Professionalism. Back to the professional voice. Also Rainbow Six Quarantine, which is an unfortunate name choice. That's coming too, but the publisher is scheduling for that same period. Continuing to go off of what Jeff Grubb has said, Ubisoft announced these delays in its first half financial report today, as of the time of recording this, which is November 5th. Yes.
Yeah, but
Ubisoft announced these delays in its first. Yeah. What?
I said yeah, but this article was like written like a week ago, so that part wasn't.
Son of a bitch!
Continue. You're doing so good.
No, the fuck I'm not.
I let my son read the news today.
It's take your son to work day. This move comes as a result of production delays due to the complications of the pandemic and work from home stuff. Quote, despite having moved Far Cry 6 and Rainbow Six Quarantine to 2022 to leverage their full potential in the context production challenges caused by COVID-19, our new non-IFRS operating income targets for 2020-2021 remain within the boundaries we set back in May. Ubisoft Chief Financial Officer Frederick, I don't know his last name, Dugant?
Duguay, maybe?
I'm assuming it's French, so maybe Dugon or something. I'm sorry if I say it wrong. I don't know languages.
True.
I can barely say English, as you can see. So,
Facts.
uh, quote, being able to maximize the long-term value of our IPs while at the same time maintaining solid financial targets highlights the increasing recurring nature of our revenues, the strength of our portfolio of franchises, confidence in our holiday season release dates, and current supportive industry dynamics.
Good job.
I did it. I did it, Dad.
Yeah, this all kind of sucks because like I feel like Ubisoft was really like kicking off this big kind of like Ubisoft, like as much as I might not like Legion, like they really were winning this next gen race in the sense of they had they had a lot of games slated. Like they have Valhalla dropping soon, Watch Dogs just dropped, and both of those are gonna have next gen versions. And then Far Cry 6 was gonna be something dropping in February. Like that's not too far off. That's when some people are gonna be picking up their consoles if they restock by then. So it sucks. I mean, obviously, like I said with Cyberpunk, like a delayed game is, that's probably gonna end up being better anyways. But part of me wonders if it's like, because they did this again. Like, they did this with Far Cry 6 as well. Actually, I don't think they announced that. But they did that with Valhalla, which is probably going to release here anyways. But also, they did that with Watch Dogs Legion. Like, that was supposed to come out in, like, what, March? And I feel like, yeah, they need to finish the game, but it was also, like, a financial thing. And it also was due to, like, their awful things they've been dealing with, like, the sexual harassment claims and stuff. Like Ubisoft was like, let's not launch a game right now. Ubisoft's just been a really bad company as of late. Like I think they're trying to restructure to get some of those people out, but they're not restructuring enough, honestly. So like I get they probably need to like actually finish these games, but part of me wonders like, is there any underlying reasons as to like why they're pushing these back again as well? So I don't know. With Quarantine, it's like that game was supposed to come out like what, last year? Like 2019. I felt like that game was supposed to come out maybe very early 2020, and now it's getting pushed back to maybe 2022, late 2021. So like I don't know what's going on with that game. I barely know what that game's supposed to be. So I don't know.
Rainbow Six.
Thanks for that.
I mean, am I wrong?
True. But yeah, so like I don't know. I don't know what to make of all this, honestly, but maybe it is kind of like a work from home thing that's really just pushing them in a bad spot. But it just seems like they're always like having these stories of like, due to our financial meetings, we're pushing these back to our next fiscal year. It's like I get that's probably what every company does. But whenever most companies delay a game, they just say, hey, this game's getting delayed. With Ubisoft recently, it's been like, due to our financial meetings, we're pushing this back to our next fiscal year, Q3. And it's like, they always say it like that. So I'm like, why? And it doesn't sound like the game needs to be delayed. It just kind of like, it sounds like a lot of weird things you're throwing at me right now. Like, I get what a fiscal year means. I'm just saying, like, they always kind of say it in this weird way. Like, they always, like, kind of, like, just do this at financial meetings, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, this is the first I've heard about the harassment claims and stuff.
Oh yeah, Ubisoft's been really bad about that lately. Like it's been, they've got some people out, like even a dude I kind of respected in the Assassin's Creed space that I don't anymore, Afrash Ismail. He was the creative director on Assassin's Creed Origins and then Black Flag, I think, too. He was going to be the creative director on Valhalla, and he was for a lot of it, but they pushed him off because there was claims of him using his, and I say this not lightly, this sucks, like he was using his position. I don't think he did like assault or anything, but he kind of was manipulating people with his position to like have sex with them. And so it's a piece of shit. So he got kicked off, but they're not really, like, they're not restructuring a lot of the people that they need to be restructured. Like, they're taking steps, but they're not taking that many steps.
Let's hope they make more steps here in the very near future, because I'm not very happy about hearing what I'm hearing about right now.
Yeah, like, what do you think I feel like? I was a Ubisoft fanboy, so now it's just kind of like, you guys aren't that good of a company. At least the higher ups. Like, I know the devs are just devs, but I'm not really vibing with your management right now.
Nah. Let's just keep shitting on Legion. That'll set them straight.
Fuck Legion. Game's ass. I should have
Well,
put this
we really do need to change some things.
I should have put this in as news, but like a lot of reviews are coming out, and like I haven't watched like IGN reviews or anything, so I don't know scores. I'm sure they're probably high, but I've seen a lot of mixed reviews. Even I brought up Greg Miller last episode, a man I respect. Even them and Kind of Funny didn't even really like the game. Like, didn't really like the game. So like, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back and give myself a big moral ego
yes,
boost.
I was right. Me.
My opinion was right. Yes. Yeah! But no,
I did it.
That's what I thought.
I'm glad you're joining me on this bit of mine.
Now I need to. But what does Scott think? I need to know. What does Scott think? But no, I bring it up only to say is like people I respect that I usually kind of like look up to for their opinions that are kind of being like, yeah, this game's kind of like, I know they did the interview with Greg Miller, the review with Greg Miller, Imran Khan, and Andy Cortez. I think Andy kind of liked the game, but I think Imran and Greg were kind of just both kind of like, yeah, it seems really boring, and it's kind of like, it's not, like, they kind of enjoyed it, parts of it, but it's just like, the NPC system, that's the big criticism I'm hearing. Even people that like the gameplay, I'm hearing a lot of, yeah, the story's kind of weak, the NPC system doesn't really, like, work. Like, it works, like, the system itself works, it just doesn't deliver a promising narrative, which is that's kind of been my big thing with it. Like, I'm sure the gameplay is fine. Like, I'm sure if I played it, I would enjoy some of the gameplay because it's still Watch Dogs. But my big problem of why I hated it is like, I feel like it's tarnishing the name, I guess, in a way that it's like, I never trusted Ubisoft to pull the system off and have it. I'm sure that they pulled the system off in a gameplay perspective. Like, I'm sure it's fun to get people, and like the permadeath system looks interesting. Like, I'll admit, like having to get a bunch of recruits because some of them can just die. Like, that's kind of cool.
My old lady squad can die?
Yes.
No. Shit.
Fuck your old ladies, dude.
I would rather you didn't. Those are my grandmothers you're talking about, sir.
God damn it. But like, that seems fine, but I knew they wouldn't pull it off in a gameplay, like in a story perspective. And yeah, I've seen a lot of reviews that are like, yeah, the game's kind of boring, I'm just not enjoying it. I'm seeing people that are like, oh, it's fun, it's a good game. And I'm seeing a lot of people that are like, yeah, this is ass. So I mean, it's like, it's very mixed. I'm sure a lot of outlets are kind of saying it's good. I'm sure the people that are reviewing them probably like it, but I don't know. I've just been listening to a lot of like local, just regular gamers, and a lot of people, their reception is kind of mixed. Like, just a lot of people aren't vibing with it. And yes, my opinion, I've validated.
I was right. Me.
Me.
I love how we somehow managed to circle back around to another Legion rant.
Yeah, I know. How does this always happen?
To be fair, I instigated it a lot of the time.
Yeah, true. I mean, hey, if Valhalla sucks, that's another Ubisoft rant. Because if Valhalla sucks, then it's going to be the best episode of this podcast. Because I'm going to fucking scream. Like, how the fuck do you mess this up?
You did it again!
God damn it, Ubisoft. Just
I used to like this franchise.
Honestly, I've established that if Valhalla sucks, that I'm kind of just done with the franchise. Like, I'm just not going to be excited for its entry anymore.
Really?
So yeah,
Really?
that's that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I said really, but it cut out.
Oh. Anyway, dude, I can't tell if it's like my jaw that hurts, but yeah, it's kind of my jaw. Like I was chewing gum earlier, and now just talking a lot, my voice kind of hurts a little bit too.
It
I think
sounds like that 5 gum really isn't stimulating your senses very well.
Yeah, it really hasn't. Yeah, my throat kind of hurts, but
The show must go on.
The show must go on.
I always feel that way after the end of recordings. My throat will usually be all kinds of like scratched up and shit because I don't talk much in general. Anyways, I'm sorry for like cutting you off.
Do you get like any honey tea or something to like quench your throat?
No, I don't like tea.
Yeah, I don't like tea either.
I'm a little grossed out by tea. I've tried tea more often than I've tried coffee, but I've always disliked both. But I really don't like tea that much.
Yeah, tea's alright. Moving on, there's a couple stories. I abbreviated these weird, so the next one's like, it just says Xbox streaming apps on the show notes. Basically, not much to talk about. The Xbox revealed their Series X streaming apps. Like the media apps you can play on the Series X, and it's pretty much everything. So the only real talking point with that is like, Sony, why the fuck do you only have like 6 apps? Like, where's Hulu? Like, why can't I get Hulu, but Xbox can? And I know a lot of people that are like, I'll play PS5, but I guess Series X will be my media machine. It's like, for me, it doesn't matter that much because I have a smart TV, so I'll just play it on there. But it's just kind of like, why? Why are we seeing consoles that like barely like launch with like two media apps? Like, I get it, consoles are for games, but they're for streaming too. Like, if you tell me that you don't watch movies or you don't watch YouTube, you're probably lying. Like, you've used your PlayStation for Netflix or YouTube at some point. Like, yeah, the focus should be on games. Like, you shouldn't come out like Xbox One and be like, TV!
We're a literal fucking DVR!
Exactly! But, like, you don't have to go full into that, but, like, consoles are for media, too. Like, it's not that hard to launch some apps with it, because people watch apps on their consoles. Like, sometimes I used to watch YouTube on my Switch. Like, those things get used. Like, I've watched Hulu on the Switch. Like, I'm gonna use my console for media, especially when I go somewhere. Like, if I go to a hotel or I go to someone's house, like, my PS4, it'll have all my apps on it. I can watch TV as I'm sleeping. Everyone does it. Don't act like you don't. So it's like, I don't know what Sony's doing. Like, I don't understand. Even the Switch launching with, like, Hulu, like, months later, then YouTube a year later. It's like, you can make the argument of, it's a Switch. Who's really going to use it? Some people. Like, some people are only going to get a Switch. Like, some people don't care about PlayStation. So it's like, yeah, it'd be nice to have Netflix or something on the Switch. Like, it doesn't have to be the focal point, but it's nice to have it. So why are consoles launching with like 3 apps? Like, just launch them. I get maybe dev kits and stuff, but it's like, would it be that hard to give a dev kit to Hulu and just be like, here? Like, indies are getting dev kits. Why can't Hulu get a dev kit? Like, is this just a problem? I don't know. Crunchyroll is going to be on PS5 day one, and that's suspicious because Sony just bought Crunchyroll. Well, it's not suspicious, but it's just favoritism. So it's like, I don't get it.
I thought that wording was a little weird.
Yeah, it's not suspicious.
It's suspicious that the company they literally just bought is going to show up on their console.
It's almost
what
like
the fuck's
they
up with
bought
that?
them. I think they bought them, guys.
What? No, you don't think.
But yeah, I don't know. Rant over. Oh, by the way, PS5 is only going to have 600 gigs. Rant start. What the fuck, Sony? No, I mean, it's going to have 825 gigs, but after the leaks right now are reporting after like Astro's Playroom and after the UI, it's going to be like 615 or something like that, which I guess everyone already expected, but it's just kind of, it's annoying, I guess. Like, I get why it's an 825 SSD because they have a really good SSD in there. So, like, I get it, but it's just kind of like, COD's gonna eat up like 1/4 of that fucking memory. So
yeah, does it still take like a ridiculous amount of space to use?
Yeah, Cold War just launched their sizes, and it's gonna be like 135 gigs.
Why?
Dude, I don't know. And then when you add Warzone on top of that, it's probably gonna be like 180. So it's just kind of like.
Will people need to get PS5s just for COD?
Yeah, I'm putting COD on my PS5, so I'm screwed.
Oh my god, come on.
I want to play COD, okay? Leave me alone. But one thing I do like is I'm pretty positive you can hook up I have a 2 terabyte external hard drive, so I'm pretty sure you can put PS5 games on there, you just can't play them. So if I just wanted to transfer that game over there and then move another one onto the SSD, like you could do that. You could just move them. Like obviously you can't play them on the hard drive, but you have that hard drive set there for games that you want to play at some point, but they don't need to be installed on the SSD right now. So you can when you want to play, you take 5 minutes to transfer it, like, and you're done. Instead of taking 2 hours to download it kind of thing. So that's still cool, but it's still kind of like, I don't know. That's why I tell people when they're like, oh, I want a 2 terabyte hard drive for my PS4, but I shouldn't get one right now. Just get it, man. Like, it'll work. If you don't care about your load times, for one, on PS5, if you don't care about really fast load times, just put your PS4 games on there. But two, if you do care about it, do what I just said and use it for like a transferring thing. Like, I'm not selling mine. Like, I'm still going to use it. Like, that's going to be a perfect thing to do. So, yeah, that's the lowdown.
It was indeed. I feel so informed now that we have had our news segment.
It's a hoedown, throwdown, hoedown, throwdown. Did you watch the Hannah Montana movie?
I don't know what that was. I've watched it when I was a tiny child, yeah, but I don't remember a damn thing from it.
That movie slapped. It was a good movie. Moving on, unless you have something to say about this hard drive.
About the hard drive, no, but let's talk more about the Hannah Montana movie.
Dude, that really launched her career. No, I'm just kidding. Moving on. Main topic. This main topic we tried to do for 3 weeks. We are now going to do tonight. Just kidding. We have to end this episode.
We'll never. We're just going to table it. We'll never be able to do it justice.
I want to have a conversation, Andrew.
Well, we haven't been already?
No. That was scripted. Remember?
Oh, yeah. We're not supposed to tell them that.
Dude, I like being honest on this show. We script all our dialogue, all our jokes, all our technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Even this exchange where I'm agreeing with you suddenly right now is entirely scripted.
Brent looks at Andrew in appall. Yeah, I know. It's weird, right? End scene.
All right, Act 5. What is this conversation that you want to have?
Brent acts like he's checking the show notes. All right, guys.
Professionals.
Dude, I don't have time to write a script for a 3-hour podcast.
Is it 3? How much time have we taken? So we're 1 hour and 27 minutes. We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine. My cheeks hurt.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
That's yet to be determined.
We'll leave that to you to decide.
Tell us down in the comments below. Also, shout out to some dude that said he loved the podcast on YouTube and he subscribed.
I saw him.
I love you too.
It was so nice to see. I wanted to say something, but I'm shy.
I feel that. And he did subscribe too, because we were at 2 subscribers. Now we're at 3.
We keep track. We'll know if you unsubscribe.
Let's just go to the main topic now before I decide about being unpopular.
Before we get into another laughing fit for like 30 minutes.
I can't. My cheeks can't handle that. They really can't.
Yeah, I know. All the more reason to go ahead and move on.
It's too long. The laughing fit. It's too long.
Well, don't start. Stop it.
Did you catch my sexual innuendo that I wrote down in the script?
Just move on, man.
Is backwards compatibility changing the way a console launches? Let's just jump into it.
No. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. You start talking. I'm gonna go grab a water.
Alright, you go ahead and do that. Alright, I'll try to keep everyone entertained again. It's fine, it's no big deal. I can talk for an extended period of time by myself. I'm not lonely in the slightest. Okay, so how is everybody doing? Hey, you all oh yeah, that was fast.
What were you saying?
Don't worry about it. I was just saying more shit, don't worry.
Yeah, I didn't have to leave the room. I have a bag of waters over by the bed.
I thought you were about to say you have a fucking mini fridge in your office room or something. I was about to be like, God damn it, you're living the fucking good life over there.
I do have a mini fridge, but my brother stole it.
I see.
When I was streaming back at the old apartment, I had like that L desk and I had a mini fridge on it. I would just grab out Dr. Peppers. It was literally the life.
God damn, I'm fucking jealous.
I'm jealous. I don't even have it anymore because of redacted
I'm jealous
statement.
of past Brent.
I'm jealous of past Brent. If only past Brent knew about redacted statement that was gonna happen.
If only I could warn him. But he won't know until November 5th when he goes back to edit this episode.
I should insert a clip of like me going like, "Oh shit."
Fucking Inception.
I spilled my bag water.
Oh no, you poor thing.
Did you know Canada has bagged milk? What an idiot.
Yes. Remember when I went with that fucking narrative in the 6th grade about being Canadian?
You did do that, didn't you?
I did do that, and I don't know why.
Hey, when you do the timestamps, can we put this like segment put Dicking Around?
I was gonna put that for all the segments.
the whole episode's just dicking around.
I mean, if we're being honest.
Anyway, let's get serious. Has backwards compatibility changed the way a console launches? Opening statements. What's your opening statement? I need to think about mine.
No.
Good day. Thank you. Thank you.
That's all I gotta say. No.
Do you don't have any evidence?
My evidence is that
that you said
look,
no.
Like, look, man. Like, I don't know if people really care that much about backwards compatibility anymore, because most of the people who are who are into the whole gaming hobby, they're getting the new the other consoles and stuff as they come out, so they're not really having very big sacrifices if for not being able to play their older games on the newest hardware, because they'll likely still have the older hardware, especially people like well, it's different because we're for different console generations, but you and I, we grew up when we were kids and stuff. Our current gens were GameCube and the Wii and 360 and all that stuff, and people like us are getting all nostalgic for those nowadays, and we're going back and getting those old consoles for pretty cheap just to be able to play a lot of our old games again, and it's really easy to do that. So there's a lot of options available for playing a lot of our older games, even on just this previous I'd argue that it's probably, for people who are big into the gaming scene, it's probably even less of a big deal now because you actively have each of the consoles. So
Mm.
I guess I could see it being like kind of a like it's just really inconvenient to have to like plug in the old console to play my old games. But like I don't know if excuse me. I don't know if it's a terribly big deal now. I guess like probably one of the bigger complaints about it is that people may be a little upset about not being able to play like uh more upscaled versions of their older games on current hardware, you know, for it to like look and possibly run better. But like if we're going from like PS4 to PS5 or something, I don't know if it's like a slightly upscaled PS4 game is going to be like, you know, that big of a deal considering like uh nowadays we're already like getting to the point even at those older generations where things were already like looking super fine, super good. So like I don't know. I don't think it's changing it that much. I don't think it's gonna be like a turn off for people to be like, well, I can't play my older games on this thing that's for playing newer games. Fuck this shit.
So
Uh,
I like this. I like that we're both for and against it. I like that you're against, I'm for. So it gives a little rapport. You know, I didn't expect this.
you mean your opinion disagrees with me? You
Fuck
son
you.
of a bitch!
Fuck you. You don't agree with me? Get off the podcast. I own the assets.
You don't agree with what I have to say. Go fuck yourself.
That's what's happening right now around election day, but
We're not getting political on this show, Brent.
my big thing is I don't think okay. I don't know where to start. I think essentially yes. I think it's changing the way a console launches because like we've had obviously I'm not gonna act like we haven't had like backwards compatible consoles before. Like Nintendo's been known to do that. Sony did that at the beginning of like the PS3. I think the PS2 maybe played PS1 games. 360 at some point I think no.
Some versions of the PS2 played old PS1 games. Some versions.
Yeah, and I know early versions of PS3 played both of them as well, and then they discontinued that.
Yeah, so that's a similar pattern for their stuff. Anyways, please continue.
But I think now it's like we're heading into this generation now. I'm gassy. This water made me gassy. What the fuck? I think now we're heading into this ecosystem where both consoles are going to be backwards compatible. They're going to boost your old games, and they're just going to make them run faster. So it's like, it's not just putting in an old disc. It's like, it's not a new game, but it's like, it's going to be a new experience for you, especially if you never played, especially if you didn't get a PS4 Pro and then you're going to a PS5. It's like a lot of games you played before, you played in 1080 and now you're playing in 4K. So I think when I wrote this question and I didn't brief you on it, what I could go a bunch of different ways in this conversation topic, but what I had in mind was in regards to launch titles and what a console launches with. That's what I was thinking of when I wrote it, because I think on the PS5 side, I think it's got a pretty good launch lineup, but if you're not into a couple of those series, you might not care. Whereas Xbox Series X as well, they just had third parties, which is fine. That's kind of why I'm bringing this up. It's like, I don't, at this point, because of backwards compatibility, I think the only people getting mad at Xbox's launch lineup is really just Sony fans because they want to be like Sony's better. It's like, I don't know. I think in the past we've seen launch titles be a really big thing. Like, when they're bad, your console's over. Well, not over. Obviously, the PS4's launch titles were pretty bad, and that became one of the highest selling consoles. But I just mean, like, you definitely can have a bad launch with bad launch titles. With the Switch, for example, they had Breath of the Wild and like 2 other games, and it's like, I think Breath of the Wild was a big enough game to hold on its own, but it still was kind of a bad launch. Like, I think if you didn't care about Zelda, you waited a year to buy the Switch. Whereas I think now that we're having these consoles that, and obviously we'll go back and forth a few times and bring up a bunch of different points, but I think my opening statement right now was kind of that because of backwards compatibility and the boosts and the performances, some games getting new modes, like new boost frequency, like not frequencies, dumb word, but just new kind of like updates to the games. It's like, I think that's going to be a big thing. I talk to my friends a lot and I'm like, dude, even if Miles didn't come out, even if they delayed every launch title, I would still buy the PS5 because I'm still playing these games I'm playing right now. I'm still playing new like multiplats. So it's like, I would want to play them in, 4K. I'd like to play them with these new speeds. I would like to have a console that doesn't freeze up on me every 5 seconds. So, like, I would still buy the console to play my old games. Whereas, if the PS5 didn't have backwards compatibility, no, I probably wouldn't buy it immediately if it didn't have these Miles Morales and all these games I wanted to play. But whereas now that fucking it has backwards compatibility, I'm really looking forward to it because I still have games I'm playing, so I can simply download it into my PS5 and unplug my PS4. Is there going to be a little bit of stingy inside of me that's like, damn, I have a PS5 but I don't have new games? Yeah, a little bit, but it's still like I'm still playing these games already, so it's like I'm still going to be getting a really good version of them. And I do think it's like, in the same coin, like, I do think that it's hard for me, as much as I'm not a Xbox hater, I do enjoy Xbox and I think they have a great ecosystem. It is hard for me to look at the Series X as a new console. Like it, and I guess that's not what, I don't think Microsoft cares about that anymore. I think they are meaning it to be just a new Xbox One, which is fine. That's what they want. But it's like Xbox with the same dashboard, everything else, it kind of just feels like a new Xbox rather than the PS5, which is like with PS4, it doesn't feel like a new PlayStation. It feels like the PS5, whereas Series X kind of feels like a new Xbox. And I don't think that's the Sony fanboy in me. Like I am a Sony fanboy, but like I enjoy Xbox. But I still think the Series X is going to strive even without exclusives because of the backwards compatibility. People are going to be in the same camp I would have been if the PS5 didn't have Miles. Like they would just be like, okay, I'm playing Destiny. Still, it doesn't matter. I'll play Destiny in 4K, 60 FPS. Like I think that's kind of changing a little bit of how a console launches. The Series X is going to sell a lot without having really any launch lineup. Like they don't have Halo and they're still going to launch fine. So, I don't know.
All right. Yeah, that clears some things up for me a little bit. I think there might be a bit of a disconnect considering I'm usually behind on these things. Like when I do get them, like I usually am like a year or two behind. So like after the newer stuff already has had some time to settle in with more like titles and stuff, and I probably wasn't looking at it so much as a like, on its like day of launch and what games are available to it now with what like with what games are like it's backwards compatible with. I think I was thinking of it more in a way of like, does backwards compatibility really change the way a console can be like enjoyed, and less so the way a console can be launched.
We can touch on that point too if you want. I feel like there's a lot of different ways this one topic can be approached. So like we definitely can like there's not what I said. Even if I wrote it that way, that's not the only way we can have this conversation. Like we can touch on all angles of it. So if you want to go ahead and touch on that angle right now, we can have a conversation about it.
We could. Because I think like looking at it more now, and now that I'm my my view sort of is a little more clear on how things are laid out. I think I can largely see where you're coming from, in terms of like what will be available for a new console as it releases compared to what else was for the previous console that you can use on this new console. Um, I think uh, I think having all those options, all those other games in combination with whatever games are available, like at that launch alongside it, all the new stuff, uh, definitely adds a lot more. Can add a lot more to it. Um, I think it's seems to be changing it more in the way of like, because we're looking at like Series X and PS5, and you brought up the Switch earlier with its launch titles, and it apparently had like three of them.
Yeah,
Which
it's like Breath of the Wild, Snipper Clips, the I think Fast RMX. I had like a Skylanders game and like a couple small things like
I
Bomberman
can't
R.
believe you glanced over Skylanders.
I know those Imaginators too, but and then it had like Bomberman R and then probably something else. But it was a very very small launch lineup. It was
Yeah,
like
and
really it was Zelda, and then people found Snipper Clips and Fast RMX.
I see. Yeah, and Switch like completely changed things with its layup. It was a console that didn't use discs. It I guess technically went back to like the cartridge system with like 64 and stuff, but it used like more like the handheld style cartridges like DS and stuff. But I don't see you being able to plug any DS cartridges or anything in there. So for the Switch being released, like the games that were there for that Switch were the games for that Switch.
Mm-hmm.
There were no other options. So the fact that its beginning library was so small and there was nothing else to add to it definitely seems to have contributed to it having a poor launch. Like it probably held up pretty okay just because Breath of the Wild. Like I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't care about Zelda, but Zelda is still a big name. It is one of Nintendo's like flagship titles, and I don't think they were like banking on that or anything, but I think that helped the Switch like at least stay afloat. Like
Dude,
maybe it wasn't anywhere
at one
near
point,
like
at
sorry.
one point the sorry I cut you off. It's hard. Discord connect is weird. Disconnect is weird. But at one point the attach rate for the Switch and Zelda was 105%, meaning people were buying copies of Zelda that didn't have a Switch.
Hmm. Wow, interesting. Uh, but yeah, that definitely affected things for the Switch. So now we're seeing this over here for Series X and PS5, and like I don't keep very up to date with like console launches, so I don't know if the launch libraries for these two systems are comparatively like much smaller for than they were for like their previous console generations or any other console generations before, like if it's a small library opening up for launch. But if both of them have relatively small libraries, then it seems like backwards compatibility, how many of the old games you can play on it, definitely seems like it's gonna play a role for some people in terms
Mm-hmm.
of the enjoyment for it and what you can really do with it, how much value you get out of it. Like if we're gonna look at it for like sheer quantity, for like how many games can you play on this console, new and old, that might affect things for people, especially people who have those older generations and those older games, so like they know how much they can carry over and shit like that. Even people who maybe got like the one or something, who weren't huge gamers but have like fucking fully evolved into real tried and true gamers, and they can't wait to play all these old games on this new system as well. Like they're up to date and they're like on this shit now.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems like it'd be a pretty big deal, especially if future console generations are also going to kind of like go down this line where like they might put a bigger emphasis on backwards compatibility, maybe like fully like Nintendo Wii did with its GameCube games, but like trying to give it a lot more like a lot more oomph, if to like sort of make up for the lack of like launch titles that may come with it. Maybe the launch libraries will get smaller, I don't know, but if it does go down that route, then yeah, this could change things quite a bit, in terms of like why people are going to like why a fair portion of people are going to glide towards one console or the other.
Yeah, I think we see like a lot of companies now really like playing into backwards compatibility. Like you have Sony on their side. They're doing the PS Plus collection now. They're like, hey, on launch, if you have PS Plus, you have 25 games right there, like greatest hits from the PS4 right here to play. Even if
that's another thing. They're like all like the games that they're offering from the old generation. There are a lot of like very well known, like either very well known and very good, or even some like I guess considered like modern classic type games like The Last of Us, and then like just really phenomenal games that people really enjoyed like God of War. And stuff like that. So
like they're giving you like the greatest hits except for like Spider-Man because they want you to buy the remaster. But like exactly like you have like me and you just said, like the greatest hits through backwards compatibility through that PS Plus collection. And even now with PS Plus already, like they don't have to do that split thing that they did with the PS4, PS3, and Vita, where it's like, yeah, each console gets 2 free games a month, but you can only play them on those consoles. It's like, no. Like, yeah, even if the PS Plus games are just PS4 games for the first year, you can still play those games. Like, they're still good games. So it's like, it's interesting. Like, it's interesting to see how, like, backwards compatibility is playing into the strategy. And then on Xbox side, like, we all know, like, when they came out on stage and was like, backwards compatibility and how big that was to, like, to a lot of people, because Sony wasn't doing that, and they still haven't, because you can't really, the cell processor was just garbage. Like it's hard to, like, people still think PS3 is gonna happen and it's not. Like even like a lot of like companies can't figure out how to like port the self processor with like new, like the new Navi stuff. So it's like that ship sailed. But it's like that's one thing that Xbox like helped propel itself in this latter half of the generation was through backwards compatibility. You had some games like Red Dead playing in native 4K on the One X, like Red Dead 1. So it's like that really helped them. And then now with Series X, they're coming out like, yeah, you're boosting all your games. You have quick resume, you have smart delivery, you have all these things. So don't feel bad if you have an Xbox One game. It's either going to run really well on the Series X or it's going to get a Series X version. So like, and I mean, Sony's doing a little bit of the same thing, but it's like they both really are committing to this backwards compatibility thing. And I think a lot of people do care about that. I mean, there's still like hardcore people who love the Wii U for much as a commercial failure as that console was. A lot of hardcore fans still play it because it has the best backwards compatibility. Obviously, you can play Wii games, you have the Wii U games, and then it has like the best virtual console, where like it has all the consoles on there up to 64, and then the handhelds on there too. So it's like people love the Wii U in that aspect of like the backwards compatibility, because as much as collectors and like old heads love the consoles, at some point it's going to be great to only have one console hooked up. And I think a lot of people, like I know even Scott the Waz loves his Wii U because he doesn't have to hook up every single console. Like that's the virtual console.
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
I think that's another good point. The fact that, like, if it keeps getting like they're if they keep improving more and more on like the whole backwards compatibility stick for for future console generations, and again continue to give it more oomph and stuff, um I feel like it'll be like they maybe could, like, obviously probably not for like a lot of those older generations nowadays, especially for PlayStation, as you mentioned earlier. Those might have to just stay behind. But for these more recent console generations, I could see, like, in the future, maybe eventually, like, you know uh backwards compatibility may get closer and closer to becoming more and more full, and you could have like a thing where, like, the new console is more like a hub where you have access to all of these other generations of games, like all in one little thing, and it's very convenient. And it's also very nice if they're all like upscaled and shit too, right?
mhm.
So I could see something like that maybe happening in the future if they keep, like, really kind of leaning on this whole aspect of gaming, the whole backwards compatibility thing. Like, because that sounds really promising on paper. The idea that all your favorite games that you've been, like, sort of like, even if you're already an adult, more or less growing up with, as you've been going through these console generations, being able to continue to play them on the newest one, and in a very convenient way, and probably in a much better looking way. I think that is starting to sound pretty fucking appealing, especially for our demographic, who might be, feeling that the nostalgic tinge, and always wanting to, like, go back and revisit these older games, but in a much fresher way.
Mm. Yeah, like I think it'll really like help someone like you. Like if you ever decide to get the PS5, all you would have to do is get PS Plus, and like you have all these greatest hits of the PS4. Like if you never played the PS4, they're all there, and then you get whatever you have on freaking whatchamacallit, the new games. So it's like I think Sony's scoring out by tackling that backwards compatibility market in a way that it's like we don't necessarily want people to buy a PS4 to play these games. So backwards compatibility is kind of like our way of saying, hey, get the PS5, you have these games. Also, come buy our new games for $70 type of thing.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. I mean, it's like, on paper, you probably like read this episode and you're like, this is dumb. But it's like, I think it's something interesting to think about, kind of. It's like, I guess the answer is like no, but it's like, it's interesting when you really think about it and piece out all the little things of like, yeah, I guess we haven't had like a console generation that's really kind of like prided itself on backwards compatibility. Like this very, as much as it feels like a new generation, it also feels like a 1.5 generation, which I'm not upset about. Like I think some people are, but it's like, I think it's cool. Like I'm definitely fine with a PS4 Pro. Like if that's what it's gotta be, then okay.
Dual Pro.
Dual Pro. Just stack another PS4
Just
Pro
stack
on it.
another PS4. Yes, the Dual Pro. That's what the next generation's gonna be.
Bro, I wish. But it's like, yeah, even like it feels like both a new generation and a 1.5 generation, but like in a good way. Like it's giving us new games while also giving us a better way to enjoy the old games. So I mean, I don't really see that as a negative. I see it as like, it's interesting because like I've said before, we've had consoles that have done backwards compatibility, but I never feel like it's been a big thing like this. Like obviously, like I said, Nintendo, like they've always done it. Like you get a 3DS, you play your DS games, but your DS,
but
you had
no
your GBA
Game Boy
games.
Advance games.
I know. I kind of wish they had put a port down there, but I understand why they didn't.
Yeah. It sucks though, because that was my favorite feature of like the DS, and then like fucking because I think the DSi did it. The light kind of skipped it, but the DSi
Mm.
had it. But it was just the GBA port, so even the old Game Boy games would like really really stick out, and you could barely really
Yeah.
get them in there very well.
No, the DS Lite had it because I never had original DS. I just had the Lite.
I was sure the light cut it out.
No, the Lite had it. I just think they had like a. I think they had a thing that you could put in the GBA slot so it looked like it was smooth until you took it out.
Maybe. I never owned one, so I don't know. I just skipped straight to DSi.
Yeah, I never saw anyone besides one friend at in my nana's neighborhood that had the bulky DS, and I was like, "What is that?" I didn't know the DS Lite was like an iteration. I just thought it was the DS.
Right.
Because I was a kid, I didn't study games.
Oh, how little we knew.
Yeah, I know. There's so many things I'm still. It's so funny, like being 20 now, and like I'm still like researching things. I'm like, holy shit, fuck, they did that. Like that game exists. That console, that peripheral exists.
Right.
It's weird. Like imagine finding out that Wario's Woods exists.
I have to play it.
But I don't know. I mean, it really is interesting to think about like the opportunities now that it's like a mainstream thing. It's like, what if the PS6 launches and it's like, nope, no backwards compatibility. Like I feel like it'd be a fucking riot. Because there's no reason it wouldn't work unless they do something that they would never do and go back to something shitty like the cell processor or like a processor similar.
Excuse me.
You're excused.
Thank you.
Do you have any other things to touch on?
I agree.
I agree. I agree that you agree.
Good. So we're agreed then.
Yes.
Agreed.
Agreed.
All right. Cool. Anyways,
This has been the Free to Play podcast. Make sure to send us your burning, and I mean burning, PS5 questions. And I, right here on this very podcast, answer them to their fullest.
as our resident PS5 expert,
Dude, I'm such a Sony fanboy.
you did the finger thing again.
I hate you.
I love you too.
Damn. But yeah, that's gonna be a fun episode to look forward to because I'm legit a fucking Sony fanboy. Like, I was gonna make a sexual joke about eating Sony's cock, though I guess I just made that joke, but I said it in a different context.
You said the C word.
You said cock. But like, next week's gonna be a packed episode because of like, there's gonna be so many fucking games, dude. Like, I'm like doing the early impressions of the console, but I'm gonna have to talk about all the games too. I think the week after that, I'll probably do a Miles Morales review. Whereas I might spoil the game, so you can probably close your ears if you don't want to listen to it. But yeah, the rest of this year is gonna be wonky. I don't know if I'm gonna give each game its own review episode. I guess it depends on how much news we have this year, but we will see, won't we, Andrew?
You said cock.
He said cock. We're both tired, so with that, this has been episode 6 of the Free to Play podcast. Follow every link in the description and give every link your credit card information. Don't read anything, just type. And we will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye!